Hey everybody, welcome back. Day 27. Wow, we're getting close to the end. It's been an amazing ride, and I'm honored today to have in the studio with me the legendary Robin Posgay. Pastor Robin Posgay, over 30 years of missionary experience. I want to ask you a big question today, Pastor Robin. I've often said that poverty mentality keeps us from doing big things for God, because I can't give the way He tells me to give because, if I give this, I might not have it tomorrow. And what if I need it tomorrow? I have no vision, I have no foresight, so it keeps me in this poverty mentality. Whereas our God is a prosperous God, and poverty is not in his vocabulary. So I want to ask you, in your 30 years of experience of missionary ministry, is there any way that you could have done what you've been able to do around the world if you would have walked with a poverty mentality?
Absolutely not. So since we're being introduced here with this missionary experience, have a quick little clip I can tell you. In the beginning days, I didn't have a whole lot of partners. I just didn't have them, but I had enough that they could send me. And this is in the day when I was driving back and forth across the desert to Mexico. You better have all the money that you needed to take with you, because you weren't going to receive wire transfers, and there were no ATM cards. And many times in the beginning days, my van would be packed. I didn't have a dime. And I had set the date. That would be the day that I would leave. I would back out of the driveway, Ray standing there, waving me goodbye. But I was going to the post office first, packed, ready to go, fueled up, but not another dime. And I would walk up to my post office box with my hand trembling, knowing that I was leaving. I'm leaving. There's something in this box that's going to enable me to leave. And every single time, there was not one time when I was locked and loaded and there was no funds for me to go. And I'd reach in and there would be the money. I'd go to the bank, cash it. And, we didn't have cell phones. I couldn't call Ray. He just knew, well, she didn't come back, so she must have got something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, dreaming big has been what has allowed you to do what you've done around the world. And the stories that you have to tell are absolutely crazy. And so our big question for today, for people listening, is there anything that you've been given that you've been unwilling to offer back to God? And that kind of shows a spot of idolatry in our life. And it also shows short-sightedness, a lack of vision, and the poverty mentality. Right. It's not easy for any of us. We all have that something that we hold on to. Right. What about you in your life? Has there been anything that you were challenged with in that way?
My mind just races back to the fact that Christ himself faced that same challenge. Even to the point that he cried out to his Father, to the extent that his sweat became drops of blood. And I believe that the part of man that God put inside of us, our will, is always challenged. Even Christ himself in the beginning, he was a little unwilling, because he said, if it be your will, let this pass from me. I mean, that was his negotiating point right there. And there were times when I can look at unwillingness as determination. I've had two major situations in my life where I was unwilling. I was unwilling to let go of Jody when doctors said there was no hope for him.
Which is your son.
My son.
Yeah.
And I was unwilling to let go of Ray when they said, this is going to kill you. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I got some stuff about me that I've had to deal with and wrestle with. Some things are real easy, like don't drink milk. It makes you sick at your stomach. That's like a no-brainer. Okay, I can let go of milk. All right. But there's some other things like feeling overlooked or getting offended or and I want to confess here that there was a time in my life when I was a smoker. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ray he loved Jack Daniel's bourbon and Coke, and we'd always go out together. He always take me to Gillies, and we just had like this good time. And then we both came face to face with a message of grace, and the Lord. I just felt like I knew I shouldn't be smoking, but I was loving it. And then one day I said, you know what, I'm done, and I can take you to the place where I smoked that last cigarette, put it on the ground, and crushed it with my shoe. Mm-hmm. But at first I wasn't. I fought it, and I wanted to hold on to. Sometimes we just want to hold on to who we are, and so we do wrestle with, do I really have to change that? Are you really asking me to give up that part of me just the same as Christ did? Mm-hmm. But we can do it. Again, it goes back to the fact that we have to have an abundant mentality, because we know we'll never run out of love and we'll never run out of forgiveness when we just bend to the Lord.
That's awesome. You had a spot that you wanted to read in that chapter.
Yeah, he makes a statement. Terry Smith makes a statement about that abundant mentality, and it says that actually just what I said, that the abundant mentality can always give because it knows it will never run out of love, forgiveness, gifts, opportunities, and blessing.
That's amazing, because our God has no limits. So that's your question today. Is there anything you've been given that you've been unwilling to offer back to God? And can you allow God to convince you of his heart of prosperity, that he will always put back in your life what you give to him? You may not have a gift to match his gift of his only son, but that's why he asks you for your life. Are you willing to give your whole life back to him? That's what he asks. So have a blessed day today, and I'm praying for you that God would do his perfect will in your life. In Jesus' name. Have a good day.